Novo lit that shit bang.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Curse of Judgment. If you saw the title of this video, maybe you're prompted to instantly dislike it, run to social media and tell everybody to report it for hate speech or something equally as stupid as that. But we're going to go through a couple things about the Khia Bryant situation. And now, I've been trying to avoid talking about things of a political nature. There was a time where we used to cover the riots related to BLM, but it kept on going on, and I felt like we weren't really contributing much to the situation, even though I know some of you find us very entertaining. But I have to talk about this whole thing going on right now, because, the officer who knelt on George Floyd's neck, he has been convicted of murder, of manslaughter. People are saying that there's going to be appeals and everything. I don't know, but he has been convicted, okay? And on that same day of the conviction, a situation occurred in which a 16-year-old named Khia Bryant was involved in an altercation with other people. And as you can kind of see in this photo here, it led to her pinning another girl up against a car with a knife and attempting to, turn the girl's belly into a knife holder, to be as charitable as I can here with the language. But when the story broke, there was a ton of misinformation around it. People had said that there was no knife, that the officers were just claiming that she had one. The body cam footage was released after a bunch of protests showing that, yes, she was trying to murderalize someone. And, yeah. Now, I highlight this tweet. Now, there's a bunch of politicians, right, who have made some incredibly idiotic statements. This one being one that, I personally dislike, being a fellow Palestinian. Makhia's TikTok videos show her childhood and joy. Her smile at the end of the videos just breaks me a little more. It's been maddening to see so many people strip away the fact that a child was killed. We cannot be a society that justifies the killing of a child. Well, no disrespect, but I kind of feel like that's exactly what she's doing here, right? Because I'll put it like this. The officer shot Khia before she could take that knife and put it into this other girl. I look at this basically like this. No matter what happened, one person was going to die there. Now, there is another angle of this altercation. I'm going to play it at the end. So if you want to skip to the end of this video and you only want to see that portion, feel free to do so, because it shows you that the officer showed up there, attempted to de-escalate, and with the officer there, Khia got up, pulled out the knife, and tried to stab this girl in front of the cop. Okay? Like, that's what makes it nuts. In the body cam footage, you're only seeing things from the cop's point of view, right? Based on where the camera is located. You actually don't notice that Khia was not in the process of defending herself from a beatdown, none of that stuff. She literally got up in front of the cop and tried to stab someone, which is psychotic and deranged. Okay? Now, there have been some really idiotic statements that have come out beyond just the ones from all of our glorious politicians, in which they basically argue, oh, she's a child, and it doesn't matter. And in reference to it, I said, anti-kid stabbing kids crow is my new Twitter handle, probably for the next week or so. Now, this is a tweet from Nuance Bro, just kind of highlighting the absurdity of a lot of this. As you can see, Twitter verified glasses, when you take them off, you see exactly what's happening. When you put them on, you just see two kids playfully sword fighting, which is what it seems like, right? When you look at a lot of these statements, it's just like, oh, this wasn't a big deal. Why would the cop even get involved? The girl was literally about to stab someone, right? And I think most people who are using common sense do understand that. I've heard some people wonder why things went the way that they did, and I'm going to address that in another tweet, which we're going to pop up here in a second. But, of course, Kathy Griffin, who is a brilliant woman, warning, how in the hell does this police officer think it's a good idea to fire shots blindly into a group of teenagers having a fight? Yes, one of them has a knife. Oh, that never happened in your school or neighborhood? She didn't deserve to die 16 years old. Like, I'm sorry. I didn't go to the roughest neighborhood. My high school wasn't like hardcore in the ghetto and everything. People were just being attacked daily. I suffered a bunch of beatdowns, but no, generally, kids did not bring knives to fights at school. Like it happened in the neighborhood, and let me just be clear. Usually, with the person with the knife got their way, but Kathy Griffin's like one of the whitest people alive. What do you fucking mean? Like, what school did you fucking go to? Honestly, this is just fucking adorable. Honestly, Dana Lash, I think she's the NRA person, but saying like apparent life of the girl in pink doesn't matter, and that's what it kind of feels like, right? Because again, I understand that in this situation, someone was going to die. Either the cop shoots Khia and stops her from stabbing someone, or Khia stabs someone. Like, either way, someone dies here, or they're both black. I mean, you kind of have to just decide whose life do you value more, right? Their lives are equal. This is a tragedy. It really is. Now, Khia's fucking psychotic, and I'll show you why in a second, but I don't feel good that somebody was literally stabbed to death. I don't feel good that someone would be literally shot to death, okay? But either way, one of those things was going to happen, and I don't think that if a cop is there, he should just allow someone to get stabbed. Now, when we talk about how Khia was shot and everything, this person here, I am convinced, is someone who is engaged in stolen valor because they put U.S. Navy retired. I had the same conversation with another person. We were trained in the military to wound, not shoot to kill unless warranted, justified, and my life and my shipmates' lives are in danger. No warning shots, shoot the legs. And apparently she was protecting herself. Now, I have a family member who's been in military service, and I have friends who have actually served. This is untrue. And actually, there was a very interesting tweet in this thread. Yeah, I was in the Navy too, and I was instructed to shoot to kill. Anyone who trains you to shoot tells you do not fire a weapon unless you are prepared to kill somebody. And when they train you to shoot, like, I don't know if you've ever seen like the training targets, but it's a human torso and a head. You are trained to shoot at center mass, which is the largest part of a human body. And you're trained to shoot until the target is down. Nobody tells you shoot for an arm, shoot for a leg, old Western where the guy like takes his revolver and he shoots the guns out of people's hands. That's all in fucking movies. Nobody trains to shoot to wound. That is an idiotic statement. Not to mention, if you shoot someone in the leg, you can clearly hit a fucking artery, on top of it not being a very visible spot to shoot, and on top of the fact that you can easily miss and hit somebody else. Okay? I've heard people argue, why didn't he fire a warning shot? Well, when you fire a gun upward and the bullet doesn't fly off into space, it eventually comes back down. Either way, somebody here was going to get hurt. Yes, this is why the officer, when he fired 4 times at Khia Bryant. You shoot center mass, you don't stop shooting until they're down, because you do not give a person the opportunity to make a lethal wound on someone else, right? Even if you shoot him in the leg, that doesn't stop her from going, oh! Right? Like, I can't. I really can't. I legitimately cannot. But of course, as you can see here, as soon as this started to become really viral last night, someone sent out the name of the officer. It's public now. But you see, his name is Nicholas Reardon. He killed Khia Bryant. Be ruthless. This is where we're at. And of course, LeBron James joined in saying, "You're next, #accountability." Now, he deleted the tweet and then blamed other people because it's their fault that he said something stupid. But that's LeBron James, human sack of shit, right? Don't say anything bad about the Uyghur genocide in China, because that could make the Chinese feel bad. Fucking LeBron James, right? No, nobody actually cares about the facts here. Nobody gives a shit about the facts. All you're getting is cop shot child, right? I'm going to go into the video next one, but I got to show you something. It's just really sad, honestly. So this is from a BLM activist basically saying that cops don't need to get involved. Teenagers have been fighting with knives for eons. They shouldn't, like, I'm just, what? Right? That's legitimately awful to say that, you shouldn't get involved. You should just let the teens stab each other. But of course, that literally happened, and it happened a day after the Khia Bryant shooting. Cincinnati police say a 13-year-old girl has been charged with murder in the stabbing death of another 13-year-old girl, right? Cops didn't get involved, and a girl is dead. Like, either way, I understand. If you let Khia Bryant live, if you don't shoot Khia Bryant, you basically condemn the other girl to death, which is what happened with this situation. Two 13-year-old girls, one of those 13-year-old girls stabbed another to death. It doesn't matter if they're kids. It doesn't matter if they're minors. If they have a deadly weapon, guess what's going to happen? Someone is going to die if they're intending to use it on somebody else. Now, this is from Jack Posobiec. It's another angle of the situation. I'm going to full screen this one, and I want you to kind of see what's going on here. Okay, so you can see right here, the cop pulls up, people are shouting at each other, right? But the cop pulls up, okay? Cop tries to break it up. Cop doesn't have his gun pulled out. Cop isn't pointing it at people. The girl in pink is right over here, right? But obviously the cop didn't pull up with his gun out, ready to shoot up all the black people, which is legitimately something that activists have been saying for the past 2 days, because they're nuts, all right? Now watch this. This guy here, I know it's very blurry. Cop tries to break up what's going on between these two individuals, okay? Right? Now watch what happens here. This is Khia Bryant. This is another dude kicking the shit out of another girl. In front of the police officer, Khia gets up off the ground and attempts to stab somebody. Look. I'm going to pause it. I'm not going to play that entire thing, but you can see what happened, right? On the ground, okay? Khia's right there. Charges at the other girl, pins her up to the car, takes the knife, and is about to stab her. Okay? That's the best angle you can get. So the cop did show up. The cop did attempt to de-escalate. And people have been saying, like, well, why didn't the cop run up and try to grab her? Between here, where he is, and where they are, if the cop ran up, that girl in the pink's going to get a knife in her gut. There's no way he's closing that distance faster than she can swing her arm. Okay? People ask, well, why didn't he use a taser? Potentially, yeah. But tasers have one shot in them. They can actually miss, and they're actually notorious for missing and misfiring. So there you go. And you don't pull out a taser to stop somebody from stabbing another person when you literally have a second to make that call. That's ridiculous. And, I know there are probably people who really disagree with me, and that's fine. But I had a statement from a very good friend of mine, BPM Broly, and I really wanted to read it out to you guys because I thought he made the best point possible. And here we go. But generally speaking, people who are anti-cop because they are shallow-minded and have to just hate everything about cops because there can't be pros and cons to a system. They have this expectation that cops are supposed to have the moral compass of Jesus, have the reflexes of an MMA fighter, have the strength of an MMA fighter, have the speed of Goku using instant transmission, be able to de-escalate a situation with irrational people already in altercation upon arriving at a scene, have the accuracy of a fictional John Wick or Sogeking post-time skip, and to do all of this in a split second in the heat of every single moment on the job, every single time. Then people who are pro-cop kind of act like cops can do no wrong, and everybody should always just listen to the cops because they will never handle a situation wrong, and everything they do is just. Can you can you give me that bit that claims she was actually the attacker from the beginning? Which is what he asked me. I don't know. There's a phone call, just to give you all the details. There's a phone call of somebody on the phone with 911 operator. People have said it's Khia Bryant, but whoever was on the phone was saying that there is a girl with a knife attacking us. It could have been those girls. I don't know. What I do see here is when the cop shows up, right? When the cop pulls up, he does not have his gun out. He is not attempting to, harass people. He is not being a piece of shit. He's not aiming at their heads, okay? These individuals get into another fight, get into another squabble. The cop is trying to break up these people here, and Khia gets up off the ground in front of the cop and tackles that girl in the pink, pins her up to a car, and is ready to kill her. Khia Bryant got what she deserved. I'm sorry. You might dislike that. You might go, she's a child. You might say I'm being callous. But I am in no way ever going to be okay with people saying that this girl in pink, her life didn't matter, or trying to make this decision that they would have done something differently, right? Because I see a whole group of people standing around doing absolutely nothing to stop Khia from plunging a knife into someone. There you go. That's the video.
Let that shit bang.